Hello and welcome. Today we are going to be doing an update on my summer TBR. I figured this would be a good idea to do since I put together like a 3 to 4 month TBR. I haven't decided if I want it to be 3 months or if I want it to be 4 months, but basically at the start of last month I did a video called Let's Build My TBR, and it's for the summer, so starting last month and then either ending in August or September, whichever one I choose to, because in California summer goes forever. It doesn't stop ever. We may get like a week of rain. So it feels like summer all the time. So that's why I'm kind of like in the air if I want it to be up till August or up till September. But anyways, within that video, I'll insert a picture of all the books that were picked, but we basically put together 10 books from my wrapped TBR shelf, which is all of my mass markets that are wrapped up and a number coincides with them. And then I picked 10 from the cooking pot jar, and which reflect the rest of the bookshelves around the house. So that's 20 books, and then I had some that had carried over, so it was about 25 books altogether. And I figure let's give you guys an update to see how I'm doing, since I'm not going to be picking TBR, I'm not going to be making TBR videos for the next couple of months. So I figure an update on the massive TBR would probably be a better idea. So with that said, let's just go ahead and let's jump into the books that I have already read from this TBR. Now I've read 4 of them in total, and starting out with the Sorceress of Darshiva and the Seeress of Kel. These are the final 2 books in the Malorian series, and I read them. I have to say I probably enjoyed the Malorian more than I did the Belgrade, but really it's the characters. I very much enjoy the characters in these books. They're not 5-star books. It's not even a 5-star series, to be quite honest, in my personal opinion. It's a good solid 3-star series all the way through, both of them. But there was definitely more moments in these ones, especially the last book. The last book was probably my favorite out of all 5 for the Malorian. But I did kind of enjoy this one a bit more than I did the first one. But that's 2 of them already off the TBR. Both of them were like a carryover kind of situation. They were part of the like 5 that I was just like automatically carrying over. So that's what we have right there. We got those ones finished. And then I read Shadow by Anne Logston. I talked about this more in my wrap-up video that I just recently put up. But essentially, spending 3 years looking for this book did not turn out well, because I gave it 2 stars. Good thing is it's very short, but it's also very aimless and pointless in my personal opinion. I do have the second book. I'm going to hold off. I'm not going to add it to the TBR currently because I could or I couldn't kind of thing. I'm just going to wait till I pick it out of the jar again. I'm not in any rush to get to it. So that one has also been read. Then I just recently finished The Secret of Star Whales by Rebecca Thorne. This was needed more Star Whales. I gave it 2 stars, in all honesty. It's well written, but the lack of Star Whales is really frustrating. They don't really come into play till the last like 10% of the book. Most of the book is about Max's grief, which I have no problem dealing with grief and trauma in middle grade books. It's actually a very common theme that comes up in middle grade books. It's the execution that matters to me, and I don't think Thorne did a very good job wrapping it up at the end. And because it's so heavy-handed throughout the entire story, for the ending to be so lackluster in delivering how to handle and heal from the grief that Max is going through was extremely disappointing for me. So, lack of the Star Whales really being important, the lack of resolution and healing process for Max, and then on top of that, she had tried to add in a poacher timeline, well, not timeline, but a poacher storyline with poachers trying to get the Star Whales. I didn't like the way that ended either, because it's just very open-ended, and it just feels like there's no consequences for the actions of like the poachers or whatever. So just a lot of things happened that ultimately I did not like how she wrapped them up at the end. And so for me, it just became a very lackluster book, and I was disappointed with it. So that's another one that I can get off of. That's now off of the TBR. So those are the 4 that I've read so far. So out of 25, we've read 4. So we have 21 left. I had to stop and do the math for that. I don't do math in my head very well. Now I'll go on to the ones that I've started. And at this point, I've actually only started 2 books. And the first one being Dragons of Autumn Twilight, the first book in the Dragonlance Chronicles series. And as you can see, I'm about that far. I'm up to chapter 6 so far. I just started it. And so far, I like what I've read. I wasn't expecting it to feel so D&D. But if I understand correctly, and if I am wrong, please, you're more than welcome to correct me. I want to say that it feels so D&D because it is like in association. Okay, yeah, Wizards of the Coast. Those are the people that do D&D, if I remember correctly. I don't play D&D, guys. I just know of it. My sister does it. I've never been a fan of the idea of D&D. It's always just felt a little try hard. That sounds so mean. It's one of those things where it's like whenever I watch a campaign, I'm like, oh my god, you guys are trying so hard to be funny and quirky, and it's just not working. And that's why I've never gotten into it, for me personally. But like everybody who does it, like, that's great. I'm so glad you guys find it enjoyable. But I wasn't really expecting that from this. And I guess it's because I didn't understand how much D&D like influence is like actually written into these books. Like I said, I am enjoying it, but I will say the party like put together is very like cliche. you got a dwarf and a mage and a warrior and a knight and a half elf and a barbarian and a this and a that, and I'm just like it's a bit much for me personally. I do think it's well written what I've read so far. There are 2 characters that I am interested in. I do like Strum. I think that's his name. Strum, or I think it's Strum. I might have that wrong. But he's like the knight. He's the knight dude, like a paladin essentially. I do like him. And then there's Cardamon, who's the warrior twin. So, yeah. I'm only on chapter 6, haven't gotten far yet. It's been mostly a lot of setup and then, bringing this D&D group together. So, I'm going to continue on with it and see where it goes. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'm just enjoying it at the moment. So, we'll see how that pans out. I do have the whole trilogy for this because I want to read The Tale of the Twins, which everyone was like, you have to read this one first. So that's where I'm at. And ultimately, if I even read that one, it'll depend on how much I like this series. So yeah. So I'm in the middle of that one. And then I have also started the Pendragon Chronicles. This is a collection of short stories based within the Arthurian legends. And so far, because I'm about up to there, where am I page-wise? I think it's like 101. Yeah, I'm at 101 pages, and I want to say I've read maybe 6 or 7 stories. One of them I skipped over because it was The Dragon Boy by Jane Yolen, which you can find in almost any short story collection. It's like one of her best ones that they put in. So I went ahead and skipped that one because I've read it numerous times. Plus, it's in another collection that I actually have. So, I did skip that one. The first short story was basically just like a rundown of like what the Arthurian legend even is. So that wasn't really interesting. Right now, out of all the ones I've read, my favorite one has been the Percival. And that's just because it's not Merlin related. I don't know what people's obsession is with Merlin, but I need people to calm down because my least favorite one involved Merlin, and if I never have to hear the description of an older man's manhood being shriveled and wrinkled, I will be a happy girl. I don't ever want to have to hear that again, especially since I'm the kind of person who can picture what I'm reading. So the whole time when I was reading that short story where they kept describing Merlin's wrinkly manhood, I was like, can we stop? Can we actually stop? Because you're going into just a little too much detail that I care about. Also, I didn't care about this to begin with. So they're very hit and miss right now. Some are good, some are not. I do like that some are not just Merlin or just the Sword and the Stone. So I do like that. I'm finding a little variety, but I still have more to go, so we'll see how the whole thing holds up. So those are the books that I'm currently reading. I'm only reading 2 of them currently from the TBR because I do have a library book going, but I was going to start a 3rd one, and that was going to be Stolen Magic by Gail Carson Levine. I had 3 middle grade books that were picked, and unfortunately I cannot start this one because this is book 2. I did not know that when I bought it. I thought it was the start of a series or whatever. Like, and honestly, it sounded more like a standalone. So I did not know it was a 2nd book, and my library doesn't have the 1st book. Like, it's just not in their collection. So I was like, we can't do this book. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually put this back into the pot, and we're going to pick a new one to replace this one so that I still have the same amount of books, but I have one that I am capable of reading. So I'm going to set this aside at the moment so I don't accidentally pick it again, but it is going to come from here. So let's go ahead and let's find the replacement book. So as you can see, we got it all in there. Don't ask about the color coordination because the only one I know is orange, and that would be middle grade. I didn't do a very good job tracking it. All right. We have just one. We have one. Ooh, it's green. The last time it was green, it was a bunch of... Oh, Among Thieves. I know where this is. So here's Among Thieves by M.J. Kuhn. What's actually interesting is Trinity over at Portable Magic was actually just talking about this duology because I believe she had read the 2nd one. So I only have the 1st. I've got the Goldsboro edition. So I have heard good things about it. Hopefully I enjoy it. So this will now be replacing Stolen Magic since I cannot read it. So that is the current update on the summer TBR. I'm trying to put the little tag in the book. I put the little tags in the book that way because I have a jar that I'm collecting all of these tags in so that I can see how much I read. And so now we'll just put that one back in the pot. Yay! So there we go. That is the update on my summer TBR. That way you guys know where I'm at, and also it'll help hold me accountable for keep on going with reading this TBR. So hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any comments or anything, do those down below. Like, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.